Hello everybody, my name is Squaggy and what you're about to watch is a story time from my stream recently. If you don't want to miss any of those in the future, follow it here. And yeah, that's why this is also going to be a bit of a more messy story as well because it's on stream, a bit more impromptu, but I had a lot of fun telling it, wanted to share with you guys as well. Alright, back to stream, Squaggy. So I'm going to go over kind of the story of this event. You know, we'll make it a YouTube video, right? Like how I accidentally topped one of the biggest DZBT16 events outside of Japan, right? Because it is one of the biggest right now. At 138 packs, which is a lot of people for a event that is A, paid, and B, you know, isn't an official WGP. The pricing for this event is you get, at first place, you get like an SEC Animus. At second place, you are getting a Regoregnus, Athenius, that one, the rewrite, the SEC for that. And third place was like SP Nehalem, like the new one. And you got a crest for the lucky draw. They had a lucky draw for the Hikari crest, the one that's worth, I don't know how much it's worth, I don't know money value, but it's worth a fair bit. So that one is pretty exciting. We went as a full friend group. I'm gonna pull up, yeah, so in order to kind of make this engaging, I've pulled up some pictures here drawn by Claude B. This is our friend group who we all went to the Roel Cup. The Roel Cup is it's hosted by a locals called Roel Video. Lovely boss, very nice. Their events are really happening because a lot of the better players go to Roel, I think. Pricing tends to be pretty good at their locals, so that's why that's the case. And I think they just have a very dedicated community. So this is happening on Singapore's National Day. Finally, we can get everyone together. We have my friend Delicanth, who's up here. He's the Relicanth. He's very good at the game. He was in our 3v3 team with me and Claude B. And he went 6-0 on Nirvana right before DZBT16 came out. He went 6-0. He was carrying my sorry ass. We all finally get together because it is a public holiday, so Dr. Wishcash can finally come out of the hospital because he's a doctor. So he can finally come out and we all kind of want to... I mean, we go to these events not to lose, right? I wouldn't say we're super competitive. None of us brought Aichi-con, but we do like, you know, playing our best and doing what we can. This is an event with Set 16. Set 16 had just come out officially the day prior. So we were all trying to get our stuff together. So Claude B has a very good dealer for Set 16 for all the Vanguard sets. Whenever she wants to pre-order a playset, she has a certain guy she goes to. This is important for later because it involves me as well. But she had picked up Artisaria, Impoldio, and Leonor because she loves Leonor. And she was deciding the whole night prior, like, what am I gonna play? You know, she wants to try all these fun decks. They're all decently robust. Like a day before, they have the Vanguard Fighters Championship in Ikebukuro. Impoldio Phantom goes like 7-1, 7-2, something like that. Something absurd. She's pretty much convinced to do that, but she tries it out in a couple of pre-tourney games. And she decides, okay, Artisaria Phantom, not it. We're gonna play Fall Phantom. Delicanth over here on the top right. He's pretty set on Nirvana. It's the deck he thinks is best in the format. I'm inclined to agree in set 15, but now I think it's fallen a little bit off. There are some decks that are a bit more consistent. Its output is a little higher. And Dr. Wishcash over here, he brings Animus. Because he owns Animus, he likes Animus. But for a long time, I was trying to push him to play a Maelstrom Reverse. Not because I think Maelstrom Reverse is really good. I just think Maelstrom Reverse is funny. I think it's a hilarious pick. I don't think it's good. Not in the slightest. Do not play Maelstrom Reverse for any competitive event. But those were our decks. And I wanted to play Estacion. So if you look here, you may notice that in my deck list, I have for Kachidoki, and I'm very thankful for that. I was looking for the FFRs for Kachidoki. I was thinking that I need to have the FFRs. I love Estacion so much. I love it more than life itself. And you may notice, yes, the Liberator, one is missing. So I have to source it from a few places. Before the set comes out, I send out a message and I say, okay, I'll pay $45 for one. And that's like my limit. It was originally 40 and I decided I really want this. So I put it out and the dealer that Claude B has gets back to me and says, hey, I pulled one alongside 3 of the SR, the new Omega Blaze. And I say, okay, I can do like 50-ish for all of that. And he says, we'll wait for the official price to come out. It's not out this time. He says, I want about $80. And I say, we'll wait because that's a lot of money for Estacion. And I thought Estacion was just okay. I think it has some really weird roles it can lose to in like bad variants. I wasn't sure if this deck was very good because I just liked it because I love Estacion. But the deck is good. I have that FFR locked. Another one of my friends had bought a carton and I found an FFR off him. I also paid him $45. Then I have one more, which another like random guy just pulled and his friend contacted me. That was fine. And Claude B's dealer comes back to me later on the day and says, hey, my friend also pulled one I can get you the second. So at that point, that's all 4 FFRs. I pick up my FR of the Autumn card, the new Grade 1 from Agora Hobby, which is a local card shop in Singapore. Shoutouts to them, please sponsor me. What happens is I can only get 2 on the day of the tournament. I get 2 from when I pick up the order with Cloudby, and one of my friends brings over to my place. But the last 2, we say, okay, I'll deal with you day of the event. And the man who I just kind of offhandedly managed to deal with, does come through for me. He comes specifically to deal with me and a few other people, not to even play the event, and I'm very thankful for that. And the last guy did not show because his friend had to work and couldn't get me the Estacion on time. So I'm a little freaked out at this point because I really wanted my FFR Estacions. I wanted them so bad, I did not pick up the triple rare ones. I didn't have a backup. My backup, I called it Plan Y. It was just gonna play Youthberg Phantom. And I don't know if any of you have played Youthberg Phantom before. That's not a good backup plan. On the day itself, yes, I'm pretty hyped about Youthberg Phantom. I'm thinking if the Estations don't come through, I will play Plan Y. I will play Youthberg Phantom. I will say Drag Dress and I will Slam Face. I played 3 games into Dilicanth, and he smokes me. I'm going like first every time. I'm hitting everything, and Overlord is just smoking me. Overlord was also really popular this event because they just got the new Regalis piece and they were just finding it off Conroe and then just slamming face. So by the end of those 3 games, I'm thinking, I don't want to play this. So I don't have my triple rares. I just don't. But I've already mentioned Dr. Wishcash is a doctor. And doctors, they got a bit of money, they're saving lives. And here's another fact about Dr. Wishcash. He loves gambling. And on the day of Royal Tournament, they were selling boxes of DZBT16 for $48. The MSRP of this box goes for about $55, maybe $65 at some stores. But $48 is a really good deal. And it doesn't take a lot of convincing for Dr. Wishcash to open the box. And if you're wondering where that SR went, it went into me. Well, that's not a good way to say it. I loaned it off him because he had gambled on it, found the SR. Yeah, he convinced himself. I didn't have to do anything and gave it to me for the tournament. So I got to play Estacion. And I don't own the SR anymore because I gave it back to him for him to sell off. So that is how I managed to get every copy of Estacion in time for the event. So now I have all 4 Estacions and I can do the list. The morning of, I thought to myself, I really want to play Summer. I really, really, really like playing as many of the Season Dragons as I can. I'm playing the Season Dragons because I just like them. They are really fun to tinker with, and they give you kind of a bit of flexibility in the battle phase. I decide day off to take out one of the new summers of Valgroth, which after swinging draws you 1, for the old summer, which is a 10k shield and stuns on place. That's my immediate idea, because I thought this is going to be really good into Zero Galatine, because he's going to stay on board, we're going to stun him, and after we stun him, they're not going to be able to rebuild that, because IGCon tends not to play more than 2-0 Galatine. That's kind of the standard right now. As it turns out, this idea sucks. Why not play Mative? Mative is a bad card. So this idea is terrible. It never comes up. It came up once. I'll also talk about my rounds right now. In my rounds, the first thing I queue up into is Kai Icon. I lose the die roll, what's new, and I'm forced into second. He flips up the con roll, and I'm thinking, oh shit, this is bad. The only loose con to Kai Icon is if you go second, right? He rides up, discard Belly Garrico, why wouldn't you? He retires the con roll, and he adds to his hand the Scarlet Flame Order. And I'm thinking, oh, this is pretty good. He's not on the order. And then he slams the order from his hand anyway, the Regalis piece order from his hand, and he just draws 1. I'm like, damn it, damn it, damn it. The other thing that I had to learn on the fly that day is that once you see that order come down from Overlord, you basically are never going to be killing them anymore, like by 6 damage. Their trigger checks are way higher, like the likelihood they check a trigger is way higher. That's just kind of the top deck set order, right? That's just kind of the natural, how that works out for you, right? You kind of just pivot to decking them out. There's not much else you can do. I mean, I didn't know this for the whole early game, so I'm declaring offense when I can and slamming a lot of pressure in. But for the most part, this deck can't die. Like, they have too many defensives. We get to a really tight endgame, and I think, alright, this is the time. On Kachidoki Swing, I have a few cards in my hand. I can probably survive the next turn decently, but I don't know if I can do it with the board they have. They have like a Berserk Dragon, it's Overlord Center, and then the Tejas Jaran column. So at this point, I say it's finally time, and I superior call Ignacio, and Ignacio stuns Vanguard Tejas. I do not win that turn. He draws for turn. He persona writes. He calls over it with Nahalem, and I think, oh, that doesn't work out very well. I try to shark him a little bit. I tell him that, oh, I don't think you can ride a Nehalem. You can call Nehalem from drop if you're riding into Vortex. You can, by the way. It's just the cards are in Japanese. I have no idea what they say. I just thought you couldn't. We did the analysis at the end of the game. It doesn't matter. I have enough to guard the whole turn. But that does push him to deck out. And the whole time I'm thinking, dude, Ignacio sucks. This card doesn't do anything. This card's really bad. It stunned exactly Vanguard Tejas, and that was the only thing it did that whole day. I think I didn't even draw into it to guard. So that's how that went for the first round. By this point, I'm feeling pretty good about myself because I'm at least 1-0. And I come out of this one thinking, okay, this is pretty good. Both Relicanth and Cloudbee come back to me with the most insane story possible. She's telling me, yeah, the Alfred opponent I had, I was at 0 up until turn 3. Then they ride Alfred and they go crit blue OT. And I'm like, okay, that sucks. I'm so sorry. And I don't really know what to say at those kinds of situations. Like, oh man, I'm sorry, but that's Alfred's win con, baby. That's the only thing that deck's good at. The Nirvana, he loses. I don't remember how exactly he loses, but it just happens. And me and Dr. Wishcash, we're 1-0 each. And Dr. Wishcash, he's not a bad player at all. Decent, really good deck builder, I feel. Really interested in exploring underexplored things. He's just a doctor, so he doesn't have a lot of time to play Cardfight Vanguard with us. But he's doing really well on Animus. We get to round 2, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I try not to let past victories, make me happy, and past losses make me sad. Just go to the next game. On the next game, my Zerif opponent he's perfectly friendly. He's a little bit on the slower side because he's always explaining to me every one of Zerif's skills, which I'm pretty aware of it. So my opponent is very nice. I can't deny that. My opponent just shuffles a little bit slower. I'm okay with that. Happens, however, is that on the first damage check of the game, I check Estacion Kachidoki. And on the second one, I also check Estacion Kachidoki. And you will not believe what the third point of damage is. I am visibly upset by this point. One of them even is the SR, by the way. So it's not like all... So the one-off went to damage. This is like having Zest go there in full blast, right? By the third Kachidoki, I'm thinking, well, it's okay because Zerif Phantom sucks anyway, so it can't kill it, win a game. I will say that by the time... Hi, Dr. Bell. So I will say that by the time we get into his Phantom skill turn, I'm at 4. He filters a little bit here and there. On the turn prior, after he whiffs a persona, right? He goes crit and keeps me at 4, so I can't make a big board. It's fine. I still managed to come back what I can. Made a mistake where I make Winter with Estacion to try and psych him out with crit put onto Winter to keep him at 3, all face down. And I just kind of forget and I swing with Winter and give him 2 CB. That's on me. But it doesn't change too much. He Phantom skills there. He Phantom skills on the next turn. He doesn't have Guild Radia, so I'm feeling pretty decent about it. He goes into battle phase not Phantom skilling. And he goes there, he turns the token sideways and then goes, actually, can I Phantom skill? And I'm thinking, there's a SEC Animus on the line, I might not even win the lucky draw. And I say, sure, you can take it back. I don't really mind. I'm not too bad about it. I don't try and shark like that. That's not a fun way to either win or lose. So I let him do it. The funny thing is, I put on so little pressure this game because I can never see Kachidoki that he just has 3 triggers left in there. And this is by the turn 5, turn 6. He has 3 whole triggers to put back into the deck. Everything else in his hand or damage zone. Of which he did check defensives on the first 1 and 2, but sometimes you queue into Kurumi, right? What can you do? So that game goes horribly, and I'm very mad by this point. I'm trying not to let it get to me, but I cannot deny I'm pissed. It happens. You can't really avoid bad RNG, but that's really bad RNG. Round 3, take my mind off it, it's fine. Yeah, imagine Kage. Yeah, but that's the difference, right? Anger Bolt's bad. So we make it to round 3. My opponent is quite quiet. I think my opponent's a pretty good player. He has his own BCS crest there. I don't know if he bought it or not, but he seemed pretty good. But he just doesn't really have the capacity to make anything early on Nirvana. Sometimes that's just how Nirvana is, right? Sometimes you just open crazy and sometimes you don't. I push this Nirvana to 5, on turn 3. He's making Mirrors by Arena on turn 3 for his clapback turn. It's not going well, right? If you're making Mirrors by Arena, it's over. It's really hard to make board into a Estacion as well. That's one of the advantages as well, because your board is pretty full. Yeah, it is really difficult to get full board. And even if you do get board online, board by Arena hits for 21. on like non-persona right turns because blast token's always there. So it's pretty easy to guard that. Really easy to close the game from that position. So that one, round 3 goes on without much of a hassle. He doesn't heal out. He checks like ass. Like, you know, it just happens. It's Nirvana. What are you gonna do? Main thing about this game is when I realized that, oh man, I'm really bad at dealing with like players who are a little bit quieter. I don't really mind if you are quieter. I think it's fine to be introverted. This is kind of it's a card game anime hobby. Some people just aren't gonna be as, you know, talkative. I'm annoyingly loud. But if they're really quiet and they're barely telling me their numbers, it's really hard to kind of, you know, get a game going. I'm not like super bugged or annoyed about it, but I am kind of being like, hey, what's your number? Come on. The same thing happens for the Kai matchup next game. For what it's worth, this one is won the same way the first one is won, because I go second. On the offense first persona ride turn, I hit in with Summer. Summer hits 58k with offense, never whiffing anything, full front row power, and autumn boosting. And 58k is this is just the one they take. There's no reason to take anything else in Estacion. It's really safe damage, but it's really big. So they take this, and it's Drakvita. And I'm just like, fuck. There's just nothing you can do. Right? If Estacion loses a turn to defense, like to defensive OT, I find it very difficult to come back. Like, you can't kill them anymore, basically, once you've lost a turn of tempo like that. So you just have to play for deck out. You still declare offense because there's no amount of plus 5k to yourself that's gonna help you more than plus 25k to your front row, basically. And by the end of it, I have filtered the deck to a point where I have 4 cards left in my deck. He's on his last turn. He's done Overlord, P-Ride, Overlord, P-Ride, Overlord, P-Ride every turn. And with this, he swings in, I guard everything except for 1, I do the calc, and I check the 1 heal in my deck, and he decks out. That game in particular, I remember getting sharked on Twin Cast. I think I call EB Cycler, I draw 1, then he says, well, you can't Twin Cast that. And that is his God-given right. If that happens to you, you let that slide, because obviously that's how the game works. Those are the rules, I made a mistake. It's fine, because I have the Twin Cast for later, I have triggers in my hand. But I think I do pull a very similar thing with the Spring Grade 1, you know, you just kind of forget. And I did feel a little bit bad about that, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if you don't know enough, you know. I try and be really good about ordering, even at these lower level events, even if it's not like a WGP, but, you know, I can understand. And I'm not going to be a big stickler about if my opponent messes up something either, right? Round 5 is my only Aichi-con that day. So by this point, at round 5, Clotby has told me every round, yeah, my opponent rolled into Blaster Blade this game, every game. I believe Delican has told me that a bunch of times too. And Aichi-Con is a very popular deck, obviously. It would be arguable to say it's the best deck in the room. It likely is. But what at least it is the most consistently good at topping, right? This is the first Aichi-Con I fight the whole day. Everyone else has fought Aichi-Con but me. And I feel pretty decent about this because I win the die roll. God bless America, right? I won the die roll. I win the die roll. He flips up Bark, and I think, oh, great, free win. The game is fine, nothing is crazy. On turn 2, I have like Ace Unit online. When you have Vital Blaze called Ace Unit in the Estacion, it's like crack. And I swing in with the Ace Unit, and I go 15, and I'm so excited. My hand flings up, and I just smack this poor man's deck like off the table, and I go, oh my fucking god, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad about it. I was told later on, you don't gotta feel bad, it's an Aichi-Con player, but it's still, you don't want to do that to somebody. Like, half his deck went flying, and I felt so bad about it. My hands were just not working that day. So we pick it up. It's fine. There's no like drop zone for his cards to get jumbled up with because he discarded Ganslot for ride. Go figure. And it's only turn 2. I did not hit the Aichi-Icon player, okay? I accidentally hit the deck. And that game was fine. By the Soul Saver Dragon turn, my hand was like PG Elementaria, plus I'm at 3. So I can just take community service, yeah, sure. So I can just take 2 points of damage early and then just PG, and the next one I have lethal. The thing that made me feel really bad about this, I was like, oh man, sometimes you do these types of things to players, or like you have like accents like that, and you don't feel like, it doesn't eat up at you or whatever, but you still feel bad about it. And sometimes, it happens to a player who's like, maybe deserves it, it's a little bit of a dick. This guy was super nice the whole time, and recently I think he liked one of my Twitter posts, and I saw it, so I checked what his profile was. He was like, yeah, I had a great day out today, my niece visiting card shops. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I hit this family man's cards off his desk, guys, like a mortgage, and I hit his shit off his table like an asshole. But he did ride Blaster Blade, Energy Blaster 3, and retired a unit, so I don't feel too bad. So that's my Aichi-Icon. And by this point, I am 4-1. I believe everyone is 4-1 except for Clotby. I think Clotby is 3-2 by this point. I have watched her beat like Deep Lands. Deep Lands is a really bad Empoleon matchup. That does not look good. I watched Dr. Wishcash. He won like a really tight Aichi-Icon game through like deck out, like basically. getting using Urut to shuffle stuff back. Like that was crazy. I really like seeing my friends win. I really like seeing them win through deck out and stuff. I think it's a very fun way to find checkmate. So round 6 comes, and Claude B is 3-2 by this point. If you're 2 losses, you basically can't top. Dr. Wishcash, he is 4-1. He had just lost his last game. If he goes 4-2 at this record, it is likely he can get in. And I queue into Delicanth. We're both 4-1. We sit at the table, and I go, my record is better. I'm more likely to top if I get this. I don't even know the math on this, and I'm pretty sure I'm just wrong. At that point, if either of us go 5-1, we just get it. I think if I give it to him, I think he does get it because my 4-2 should be quite strong. But we are both kind of insane. We care more about playing the game than like actually like topping or getting prizing. So we just play. He says, let's play it out, then we'll decide from there. And I say, sure, that sounds fun. I love playing against him, even if he's annoying. He's a good player, but no matter how good you are, you just can't stop if your deck doesn't want to work. And that game, Nirvana went back to bed. You know, she went back into that sunrise egg. She went back into the egg, didn't want to play ball. And whenever I watch him and Claude B play Vanguard, whenever I watch them do the opening mulligans, they will oftentimes make like really weird faces in like the, oh, this hand is really bad. Claude B will often say things like, oh, this hand is pretty bad, and then she'll like discard Lemina for Riot, Crimson Moon into the check 5 cycler. It's disgusting every time. But this time, it also seemed like the same thing, because he had opened Ars. Every ride-up, he went Ars Virina, and I'm thinking, damn, this kind of blows. Because I think I'm just going to get my back walls blown out on 3. He went first. It says I went first. That's not true. He went first. But I've also noticed he hasn't made a single rear guard that entire early game. That was Ryu Pass. And Nirvana kind of needs to make those sides these days. So we make it into turn 3, and his turn 3, after all the Ars Virina-ing, I had knocked 2 Upper Raja into damage zone by this point. He looks at me and he goes, welp, that's it. And he goes Boar Virina 21, Nirvana swings, restanding Boar, and that's the turn. There's just nothing else he can do. And I feel so bad about it because I'm about to win this game because Estacion doesn't break like that. So I find Kachinoki, I slam it down, I take the game. He gets through a whole Persona my turn, and he cannot make a second Overdress unit because he just doesn't have the Prayer Dragons. And that's kind of like one of the weaknesses of Nirvana. I own Nirvana on full as well. I just don't feel like bringing it out because I just don't think it's fun to play that kind of game at like a really high level. I feel very stressed out if I don't have like the perfect Nirvana opener. Yeah, so like no Blessia, no Ars. He has a Blessia for later, but it doesn't do much. That's my 6 rounds. And I look to my left where Dr. Wishcash is, and he had just lost his game to Deep Lens. He went second, it happens. But he's 4-2 with a really good record. The top cut results come out, they generate these really fast, and I am like 13 in Swiss. Really good stuff, I'm really happy about this placing. Dr. Wishcash is 17 exactly on a top 16 top cut. It's only horrible to think, like, how unlucky could you be? Like, what did you down pair into? Dr. Wishcash had down paired into the one guy at the event who got a bye. No hate to that guy, he's a good player, he's nice. But his round 4 opponent was eating KFC. It's not really his fault that he bubbled out. There's just like nothing much he can really do about it. And it feels really bad because he's 17. That is just kind of the highs and lows of tournament bubbling. It just doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes you just don't have it. It's a really fun event so far, so they tell me, oh, you go play Squaggy, enjoy yourself, and I told them, well, I'll see you guys at dinner, and they say, no, go and win this. What are you, stupid? So top cut happens, I take a piss. I sit down to my opponent, and we both pull out the plant token stack, and we're like, what are you playing? You know, for me, my lie is just, this is Grand Fear. I always try and say that, try and psych them out. Never works. We are both pretty excited to play this. I'm less excited to play this match out when I see that I roll 2 1s and he rolls 2 4s. So I'm going second again in the Estacion mirror match. And you may be thinking to yourself, is there any skill expression in the Estacion mirror match other than who can roll the higher number on the dice? And the answer is no, there's not much you can do if you're going second. There's like a few little things you can do. Maybe you can deny a point of damage to stop the CB1. So game starts, I open double of the Grade 1 Autumn. I managed to make 2 of the 13k lines, which is really good, by the way. I make these, he checks the defensive immediately. I try and end it all. I can't. He goes into turn 2, he drops Ace Unit. I'm pretty sure I'm fucked this time. By turn 3, he has once again managed to knock 2 Kachidoki into damage zone. And at this point, it's just over. Like, I don't know how I could get it back. Because the thing about playing Estacion is that nowadays, most people go up to about 5 or 6 orders, right? So when you do that, you're doing it with the understanding that Kachidoki can replay the orders later on. So I'm doing stuff like I'm discarding it for ride if I have to, I'm like discarding it as PG fodder. But what if you don't have anything left, right? What if you don't have Kachidokis? Then you can't cast it from drop. So I'm kind of fucked, like really bad. He makes it the Kachidoki, he's slamming me. I'm like close to maybe getting another turn, but no, there's nothing I can do about it. And the thing about this experience that irritated me, not aside from the fact that I lost my Persona rights in the deck that needs the Persona right, it really bothered me because the guy behind me was like, oh man, you whiffed the Persona ride? And I was like, yeah, dude, I know I whiffed it. I was there. So no hate to that guy necessarily. He's pretty nice about it, but I was like, I'm gonna kill you in real life. Like, I know I don't have it. What are you talking about? What do you want me to do? So it's this kind of thing, it just happens. So there's not a lot you can do. I'm not too bitter about it. I stopped being bitter about this kind of thing a long time ago. And by the end of the game, we're just chatting and we're discussing our lists. Because I'm really interested in what his list is like. He's got like a bunch of the Persona Shield grade 1s. That's really fascinating. And so I asked him, what's your split? He's like, oh, I'm on 3 Vital Blaze, 2 of the new order, which is fine, because he's on Harvest Elf, he's on Shrooms, and I'm thinking, well, that's a pretty interesting list. And that same guy from behind me goes, I can't believe you missed Persona right. He's only on 3, and I'm thinking, dude, I'm gonna kill you. Like, my opponent was fine, but dude, you specifically, like, I'm gonna do it to you. And my opponent reveals to me that, yeah, he was supposed to have 4, he left 1 at home. He had Persona wrote twice. He was like, I don't really know I'm running this Alvine now. It's probably supposed to be the 4th Kachidoki. I'm like, are you kidding? He Persona wrote twice. And to be fair, Kachidoki, you can find that shit real easy. You CP1, you get anything from your deck, right? But that pissed me off so bad. To be fair, even if Professor Wishcash or Dr. Wishcash doesn't gamble there, I can probably find one. Everyone's hitting $48 boxes. But man, I was so tilted from that one. I don't really mind it if people are talking about my games or whatever, that's fine. I'm not too mad about it. But just those specific lines of dialogue sent me. I was like, oh my god, are you kidding? So that was the event. It was super fun in that way. I really enjoyed looking at the other Estacion list. If you guys look at VG Paradox and stuff and you see all the other Estacion tops, basically every 50 cards are different. It's really interesting. Some people are just on like 3 Vital Blaze and that's it. I could not be doing that anymore. That event goes pretty well. One of the other things is that I'm getting noticed a lot more locally. I try to bring a little Quagsire plush all the time, just save myself the trouble of answering the questions, and I like having my comfort Quagsire with me at all times. And people always ask, oh, are you Squaggy? Are you the Squaggy? I'm like, yes, that's my voice, right? And I feel pretty bad about this one. Someone comes up to me and goes, hey, you're Squaggy, right? Can I get a game? And I have to tell him, like, no, I'm so sorry, I can't play a game with you right now because I made top cut. And of course, like, I do feel bad about saying that kind of thing. I would love to play against, like, a viewer if you find me and I'm not busy, I'll play you. I think, I hope I would. But just that particular incident, I was like, man, it's so good to be able to say, nah, I made top cut. Yes, I'm too good now. These peons, they can't send Kachidoki to damage. I did not say I'm top cut, bro. I said, I'm so sorry I had made top cut. Oh, other things from this event. This is early in the set. So this may change for you EN players. This may change for those of you who haven't gone to a local in a while. The draw triggers, really good. These, I saw them everywhere today. They're really good. Highly, highly, highly recommend these at some quantity in your deck if you can afford them. I saw a lot of Overlord trying out the set order, and I thought this would change Overlord's placement in the meta a lot more. But from what I can tell, it doesn't change too much, because now you have a new deck out, LoseCon. Yes, go into debt for these, you'll make back the money. Purchase booster boxes. Oh, this one is real advice. Purchase booster boxes. That night, we go to a local card shop that's nearby because Roel Video, while they have a regular Vanguard store, the only store there is their Pokemon Gym store, which is really nice. Go check it out if you're in Singapore. But we go into a nearby shop. Shout out to Cardbar Collectibles. They're very nice. And Dr. Wishcash, as I've mentioned, loves gambling. And the store has like a bit of like, please pay to like take a seat. I don't, that's fine, it's whatever. But we do need someone to make a purchase, and Dr. Wishcash, our hero, he buys a box. And he hits like 4 draw triggers and FFR Leonor. The 4 draw triggers itself make up the box. The FFR Leonor makes back the money from Claude B, who bought it right off the bat. And once you have all that money, what do? You buy another box. Because the problem with gambling is that when you stop, then the value of money you get stops as well. You don't get more. So you have to go again. So he goes again. And he opens one more time, 4 draw triggers, and he opens the FFR triple rare for Gabrielius. Which, by the way, you may as well be opening another draw trigger. That shit's not worth anything. But at this point, I'm getting a little fidgety too. You know, I could get a box. I didn't get a box. I had to stop myself. I'd spent about $200 prior. What's the ratios for a box? I have no idea, honestly. The ratio is, if you are pure of heart, you'll pull the FFR. But easily that case on the shelf is 100% like gone. There's like nothing there anymore. And that is kind of where we're at with that. I decided not to buy a box. And I have bought all my draw triggers already from Agora Hobby. Shout out to you guys. It was like $200. People were selling pre-order of playsets for $40, and I missed that. I was like, nah, it'll probably be fine. And they were like $19 on release. Some were going up to 20 something. I was like, fuck, I'm not spending $100 on a playset of draw triggers and I put them in Viaman's Bruce. I'd rather kill myself. So I didn't. That was the draw trigger situation. That is the draw trigger situation. Go buy boxes. Greggy, think about the payout. There's no payout in September. What are you talking about? The payout in September is I'm not buying product in September. I'm not buying the Persona 5 collab set. I'm good. To talk about my list a little bit here in detail, I like One Winter a lot. I think it's useful to force your opponent into weird situations where they're like forced to take the Vanguard, or you can sometimes make it so that your opponent's on as little face-up counterblast as possible. One fun trick now you can do, I mean you could do this before, but I like it now, is that when Autumn boosts Winter, you can go 2 crit first if you call it back with Estacion. Then Estacion swings, which threatens 2 crit again, basically. Calling back Winter from drop. So this way you have 3 swings in a row that all threaten 2 crit, which is a great way to keep your opponent at 4. Did it come up for me? Came up once. I didn't do it properly. But it is good. But yeah, this is like one of the bigger events for Singapore's DZBT 16 format. I think the largest our locals go up to is like 100 plus, which is like Agora. And at 138, this is probably the biggest event we'll have this month. $20 draws in JP format. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just gonna be a lot. They're not necessary, but they're really good. If you can afford them, I would recommend them. If you want to play these newer decks. I think stuff like Artisaria does really well in. There are some decks that can't really do it, but a lot of them can. Some Estacions are on like just 3 front, 3 draw. I wouldn't do that, but I think it's fine. 2-2 works for me. I would probably cut the Summer and put back in the Vargrove. The EB Cycler I'm pretty happy with. 4 front, 4 draw in rows. Well, yeah, I guess if you can keep that damn, what's his name? If you can keep the guy who keeps you from decking up in your deck still. If you keep Feroid in your deck, I guess. In Estacion, somebody talked to me about wanting to play like 4 draw, 4 front, and then declaring defense every turn. And I thought that was interesting. I like the 2 EB Cycler, 4 of the Great One Spring Core. I call it my Cycler Core, where you want 6 cards you want to discard. I think someone did the math on this, and that's usually the optimal amount you want, something like that. 6 cards where you want to discard for ride. I find that great for me. Basically did I do it every turn? Not really, but usually you find it. So I think I would try and keep that. If I was on a higher Vital Blaze count and I was clicking Vital Blaze more, I'd probably put in the Shield Cycler somewhere. Maybe cut down on some of the Grade 2 Autumns. Which, by the way, I've been like kind of looking for like the TDRs, trying to see if I can maybe get them for a good price. Can't find them anywhere. Please reprint those. I really want them. I managed to get the Winter TDR, no problem. Summer, I have it in paper. I think my copy's even damaged. And the Springs, I've been looking for FFRs. I remember on release, I think the FFRs were like $5, something absurd, something really low. And I just didn't go for it then. I should have went for it. Estacion is crazy fun. That's story time. That's my Roel Cup story. It's a little bit all over the place, but I don't know. I like talking about my tournament events. I think they're fun. And especially when I have a few stories like missing out on the FFR and all the gambling. I think that's a fun story to tell. Thank you to my Ko-Fi supporters, Big Ben, Long Long, Milk, and Latson. Scraggy appreciates all your support.